exploit P2JB, or Patience to Jailbreak, because it can take up to 2 hours to jailbreak with this kernel exploit. But this version is for the Artemis Lua loader, which uses any one of these Japanese games to jailbreak the console. Now, currently this version of P2JB will crash the console after closing the game, so it's not really designed to be a viable jailbreak method up to 12.70 yet. However, what you can do is use it to unpatch the Blu-ray jailbreak up to firmware 12.0 to be able to jailbreak with a Blu-ray disc without needing Star Wars Racer Revenge. So that's what I'm going to show you here in this video. We can use P2JB to jailbreak the console once with the remote Lua loader, and then unpatch the Blu-ray jailbreak so that we can then use that jailbreak to jailbreak within a few seconds from then on. So the requirements for this is that you have one of those supported Japanese games. And then also, of course, if you head into settings and go to system software, console information, you need to be on a firmware of 12.0 or below in order to be able to use the Blu-ray jailbreak once we unpatch it. So we want 12.0 or below. That's the requirements to get this set up. Now, because we're setting up 2 jailbreaks, there's quite a few things we need to download. So first, we need the updated version of the remote Lua loader. And this comes to us from Not Major, who has implemented the kernel exploit. So all you need to do is go to the code and download this as a zip file. Then we also want the BD unpatch payload from Gejine here, just the .elf file, so we can go ahead and download that as well for the Blu-ray exploit. If you don't have the Blu-ray exploit set up already, I would recommend grabbing this autoloader version from PLK here, so you can go ahead and download this ISO file. So for the Blu-ray jailbreak, all you need to do is download the ISO file and then burn it to a blank Blu-ray disc or rewritable Blu-ray disc using software like Image Burn, where you just select write image file to disk, you drag in the ISO into the program or click the button to browse for the ISO file, and then simply click the button to write the image file for the disk once you have the disk inserted, and that will write the ISO over to the disk so that you have the Blu-ray ready to jailbreak the console once it's unpatched. That's all you got to do there to set up the Blu-ray exploit. I'd also recommend downloading Nano DNS as well, which will be useful once we have the Blu-ray drive exploit set up, once everything is said and done, so we can download that ELF file as well. And then also we want Netcat GUI or some payload injector to send our unpatched payload as well. I'll leave links to all of this stuff down in the video description. So moving over to the console itself, there's 2 ways that you can set up the remote Lua loader. Now, if you have an activated account, you can install this without having to reset your console, which you can do by just in the sign-in screen, pressing the options button and checking to see if you have this menu for login as online or busy or appear offline. If you have that menu on any of your accounts, it means that that account is activated, and that means that you can install the Lua exploit without needing to restore a backup file. However, if none of your accounts have this menu, then that means they're not activated and your only option is to restore a backup file, which will reset your console, losing your save files and installed applications. So you're better off making your own backup file first before restoring the backup that can be used to jailbreak. So basically, if you're going to be restoring the backup file, now I'll try and leave one in the video description that you can use. Hopefully, if there isn't one there should be one added to the description soon. So if you're using the backup file method, you will need to grab yourself a USB drive that's formatted in exFAT format. And then all you need to do is open up the zip file for the backup file. It may have a different name, the one that I put in the description. And then just export the PS5 folder to the root of the USB drive and wait for that to complete. Then simply plug in that USB drive into your PS5. Then on the PS5, we just go into the settings, we scroll down to System, and then we go to System Software, Backup and Restore, and then restore your PS5. But again, I would highly recommend that you back up your own PS5 first to the USB drive and then copy it somewhere safe on your computer so you never permanently lose all of your installed save files and everything else that's on your console, because restoring this backup again will reset your console. So we're going to go ahead and select it and then select the Lua backup and go ahead and restore that backup file. And that will get the modified save file installed for the Lua loader. As an additional warning here, do not use the backup and restore method if you have a digital version of the Japanese games, because that will deactivate your license, preventing you from being able to use the game. Only use the backup and restore method if you have a physical disc copy, because if you have a digital version of the game, you should have an activated account to allow you to use the second method. Now, in my case, I'm not going to do this because I have an activated account, so I don't need to reset my PS5. So for those who have activated accounts, we can do it a different way. It is longer, but at least we don't have to reset our consoles. So with this method, what we can do instead, first of all, we need to go to our system settings, system software, update and settings, and make sure download update files and install update files are both unchecked. And then also head to your network settings and go to settings and uncheck the box to connect to the internet. So now we just want to load up the Japanese game itself and then head into the pause menu, which is normally square, and then head over to the save section and create a new save file for the game. Once we have the save file created, we can then simply exit out of the game. So close the game and then head over into the settings page. Scroll down to save data and game app settings. We're going to select that option and then go to save data on PS4, upload or delete from console, copy to USB drive. So make sure you have a USB drive plugged in, and we're going to select the save file and copy it over to the USB. Once we've done that, we can then open up the USB drive on our computer, and we will see we have a PS4 folder inside. If we go into that folder, into the save data folder, we have this folder with a bunch of letters and numbers. We're going to copy that, which is our account ID, and we're going to create a new profile on garlicsaves.com. Make an account on this website if you don't already have it. So all you need to do is create a new profile in the dashboard section, give it a name, and then paste in your account ID. And then once you've done that, we can add profile, and that will create that profile. So you can reassign saves to that profile now. So then we're going to go to the decrypt section and then open up the save file that is on our USB drive. So go into all of the folders on the USB drive until you find the save data. And then we're just going to extract these two files. We're going to copy them into Garlic Saves and then start the decryption process and then wait for that to complete. It can take some time depending on how busy the website is at the time that you're doing this. So just wait for this to complete and then it should give you your decrypted save data. So we can download the result, which is our decrypted save. So we'll open this up and you can see that we have our save data folder, and all we need to do is extract that over to our desktop. So to install the modified save data for the remote Lua loader, we just need to open up the zip file for the project, open up remote Lua loader main, and then go into the save data folder and highlight all of the files in here. So copy all of these files and extract them into the save data folder from our decrypted save, and that will get the Lua loader installed. So once that's done, we now need to encrypt this back into a workable save file again. So we're now going to go to the encrypt option, select our profile in Garlic Saves again, and then we're going to simply go ahead and drag in that save data folder into the box and tell it to encrypt that save. And that's all we got to do there. Now this can take some time. Sometimes it looks like it's stuck and you just have to refresh the page and it will be done. And you can go ahead and download the result once it is complete. And then just wait for that to give you the save file. There we go, it's downloading the encrypted save. And any second now, there we go, it is now done. So we can open up that save file and we now have this PS4 folder which contains our save data. So the save file is in here. So all we need to do is delete the original save file off the USB drive. So get rid of that original save and then copy the PS4 folder from the one we downloaded into the root of the USB drive instead. And now we can plug that USB drive back into the PS5, head back into save data game app settings, save data on PS4. We're going to copy or delete from USB drive this time. And then we're going to select the save file on our USB and copy that over to the system storage. And that is how you install the modified save file without restoring a backup file, without resetting your console. That's the advantage of having an activated account. Okay, so now we can reconnect to our network, connect back up to the internet, set up an internet connection, press options on your registered network and go to advanced settings, change the DNS settings to manual and set the primary DNS to 127.0.0.1 and click OK. And then that will get you connected to the network without a proper internet connection, so blocking Sony's servers, blocking system updates. So now we can go ahead and load up the Japanese game again, and this time it should go ahead and load the remote Lua loader. There we go. It's listening on our PS5's IP address on port 9026 on firmware 12.0 here. So now all we need to do is send the payload. So if we open up the remote Lua loader zip file again, this time we're going to go into the payloads folder, and in here we want to extract P2JB.lua, which is the kernel exploit, and sendlua.py, which is the file that we can use to actually send the payload. So we just want to have those in the same location. So we want to make sure we've got both of these files in the same folder, and then we can right click and open in terminal in this location and type in Python and press enter. If that runs Python, then you have Python installed. If it opens up the Microsoft Store, then you'll need to download it from the Microsoft Store. So make sure you get and install Python. And then once you have it installed, we can run the command to send our payload to jailbreak the console with P2JB, which is Python space send underscore lua.py, then the IP address of your PS5, which in my case is 192.168.137.79, the port number, which is 9026, and then the name of the file that we're sending, which is p2jb.lua, and that is it. We simply go ahead and press enter, and when we press enter, we get P2JB port by Major, and then we can see it starts running, and we get this log outputted to our computer as well, which shows how long we have to wait. Again, this is running Patience to Jailbreak, which takes 2 hours roughly to jailbreak the console. As you can see here, it's saying about 1 hour 47 minutes remaining. So I basically just have to wait that amount of time. And then after 2 hours have passed, we can see it starts running the kernel exploit. There we go. We get the other stages, fast kernel read write is achieved, and then we get the elf loader serving on 9021. Now, the very important thing here is not to close the game. Do not close the game, because that will kernel panic, and then you'd have to run the jailbreak again. We just want to leave things as they are right now, and just send the Blu-ray unpatch payload to unpatch the Blu-ray jailbreak, so that we can use a more convenient jailbreak to jailbreak our console in the future. So all we need to do now is open up Netcat GUI, and then simply make sure you have the PS5's IP address in the host box. Port number is 9021 this time. And now we can drag in our Blu-ray unpatch payload into the program and simply inject the payload. And when we inject the payload, we should get a notification there saying the BDJ stack file has been patched. In my case, it was already patched for me previously, so you should be good to go. So now that the Blu-ray jailbreak is unpatched, you can see we do have debug settings running, so we are jailbroken. But as soon as I go to close the game, it is going to crash the console, which is fine because we have now unpatched the Blu-ray jailbreak, so we can now jailbreak with the Blu-ray disc in a few seconds instead of having to wait multiple hours. So there we go. So after I reboot the console here, I'm going to insert my Blu-ray disc that we burned earlier. So I can re-jailbreak with the Blu-ray exploit now on 12.0. So I'll run the BD Jailbreak auto loader. So now we just wait for this jailbreak to complete, and this is much faster. It only takes a few seconds. So there we go. PS5 BD Jailbreak auto loader is running. It says jailbreak is complete. It's starting the elf loader. And then it automatically closes the disc player for us, so we don't have to do that manually. And there we go. It has loaded successfully, and then it goes ahead and installs the payload manager. This is something that's pretty new, this new payload manager. So what I recommend doing here is simply grab yourself a USB drive and copy the nano DNS payload that I recommended you download over to a USB drive, and then plug that into your PS5. And then once you have that connected, we can then head into the settings page here. And what I like to do is uncheck the auto open browser option. We want to enable scan USB payloads. I also changed the auto load delay down to 3 seconds. This is just my own personal preferences. And then we can go into manage payloads here. We've got nano DNS. We want to move that to the internal storage. So copy that over to the internal storage and then load nano DNS from the dashboard section, which we can do by just selecting nano DNS, and that will load it. And that gives us an internet connection on the PS5 while blocking Sony servers. So now we just need to reload the page, and then we can download and install any additional payloads. So I recommend installing FTP, Shadow Mount as well. And then also we want KStuff Lite. So those are the payloads that I would install first of all. So we install those payloads, and then I can auto load those payloads the next time we load the jailbreak by heading into the auto loader and then enabling the auto load sequence and then adding those payloads into the auto loader. So I'll add all of them in here: FTP server, shadow mount, nano DNS, and KStuff Lite. I'll probably load KStuff Lite and then nano DNS last. And there we go, that is it. So now whenever I run the jailbreak, it will automatically load those payloads. So after setting everything up like that, you can see that when I load the jailbreak again, after rebooting the console, it just starts automatically running those payloads after we load the Blu-ray disc. So we get FTP server loaded, we get our shadow mount loaded, and our KStuff Lite loaded. So all of the payloads are loaded. To show that I'm jailbroken, I can go ahead and install a fake package file that I put on the USB drive using the debug settings package installer. I can go ahead and install Minecraft as a fake package file. And once that's installed, I'm able to play it using KStuff Lite that's now running on the console, showing that we are fully jailbroken. So there we go, we have got the jailbreak fully set up. We've unpatched the Blu-ray jailbreak, so we can now jailbreak within a few seconds using a Blu-ray disc by unpatching it with the remote Lua loader with the P2JB. So yeah, that is basically it. So quite an involved process. This will get easier. There will be like a YouTube jailbreak implementation that we could use to unpatch this soon, and that would be even easier than having to use these Japanese games. This is just the second release of P2JB, with more releases to come fairly soon. So anyway, that's going to do it here for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one or found the